Hello again, YouTube, and I'm being attacked by Apple. What are you doing?
He's trying to eat the hat.
Yeah, but you just pushed it like right on.
Sorry.
That's gonna be a blooper or something. So, we got married in September 1st, Apple, that hurts! We got married on September 1st, and that
good boy.
Was
not good boy.
In some respects of this channel, it seems like it was a long time ago, but then I guess in some respects of our life, it seems like maybe it wasn't all that long ago. So, anyway, we had a lot of questions for us to answer on our honeymoon, and we got to several of them, but there's 4 left, and so I wanted to make 2 episodes out of this by answering 2 questions at a time, and get to the rest of them, because it would be unfair to not have them in the rest of the shows, and I'm glad Apple can join us for this one. He's being very good for the camera, not anymore. So, I of course have Mrs. Kendo with me, my beautiful wife, and we have donned the hats that we have not worn since the honeymoon. So.
Yeah, it looks weird with our different hair, with my hair being so short and his hair being a lot longer. He was remarking that it seemed odd.
Yes, it does. So, so yeah, I do still plan to get to a lot of the videos that I said I was going to get to. Times are crazy. Both of us have 3 jobs, and the YouTube channel itself is like a full-time job, and so trying to do everything in life, sometimes I think it just takes me a long time to get to some of the videos that I promise. For instance, we have a Gangnam Style dance video, parody video dance coming up, and we don't exactly know when that's going to get done, but it is going to get done. Just hopefully not like next year when it's irrelevant. So anyway, on to the questions. Of course, do you want to read the first one, or do you want me to?
Can we do this one first?
Okay, yes, we'll do that one.
What was
Who asked it?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Tamari773. She wanted to know what our favorite part about being at Disney was. And there's a question for Apple, which is great that we have in here. So, what was your favorite part about being at Disney? We talk about this a lot.
Well, it's so hard for me to go with like one favorite part, you know what I mean? Because like everything was my favorite part, and being there with Mrs. Kendo with like no worries, you know what I mean? Like we even had Apple like boarded, I had a temporary job that like was very understanding about, okay, you have your wedding here and you're gonna be on honeymoon till here, so like I didn't have to worry about work, anything, and so just like the spirit of being in the most magical place on earth with the most magical woman on earth was honestly, how could that not be my favorite entirely? But if that's like a cop-out answer where I can't pick one thing, then I would say probably the day, actually really just the first day we were at Disney, which was Epcot, and it's also your birthday.
Mm-hmm,
that whole day was probably like my favorite thing, and that was the first day that we were at Disney.
I think that my favorite part is just how like special you feel when you're at Disney World. Like the people who work there, and speaking of someone who is like considered working there or whatever, now I don't really know how I feel about that, because it's almost like I would just want to go on vacation there maybe because it's so magical. Like the people are just so like, especially when you're there for something big like your honeymoon, everybody makes a big deal about it. Everybody, like park guests, park guests are like going around like yelling congratulations at you. You get buttons that say it's your birthday. Everyone tells you happy birthday. When you go to the restaurants, people like, they know that you're on your honeymoon because it like says on your package for like your dining plan. So like at most of the restaurants we ate at, we got cards signed by the staff that was like congratulations on your honeymoon, and the characters like interact with you special when you're on your honeymoon because they see your hats. I mean, gosh, these hats, no price can we put on these hats. They were the best. Honestly, the hats might have been the best thing because of all the stuff. And then like, I was just talking the other day about how like, when you go to Disney World, you can like really like be what you want to be, or like they say dreams come true or whatever, but it's like so true because even as like a park guest, even as someone who doesn't like work there, you can be in a show. Like you can do the American Idol experience. Even if you're not going to do that, like you can be an extra in a show. You can be that guy at the laugh floor if you're lucky. I mean, like, you can just do, like, you can be, like, whoever you want. You can, it's awesome.
And the animals also were great.
Yeah.
That was another favorite part for me because we stayed at the Animal Kingdom.
Gosh, I want to go back.
Yes, we're already ready to go back.
We want to go back so bad.
We cannot. And so, Tamari773 included a question for Apple. He actually is already asleep now. He was in my face and now he's laying down.
He is, he's totally crashed out over there. Can we please get this on tape?
All right.
You have proof that after being crazy and jumping around, he went to sleep.
I know, he had to bite my ear in the process and be a madman. He's making me tired. So, Tamari773 added for Apple, she was saying, do you think that he understands the fact of how big a deal your marriage is, or is he just going along with the flow? And
honestly,
I'm sure Tamari knows, herself that he realized, he doesn't actually know, oh my gosh, they got married,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wish I had some kind of Futurama brain slug thing that I could put on Apple that wouldn't make him stupid, but would make me be able to read his mind. I really wish that I don't know what the heck he thought when we dropped him off to get boarded, if he was just hey, cool, this is a fun place with dogs, or if he was they're all abandoning me, or if he was
yeah, tough to say.
Yeah, I don't know, and if he wondered if we were gonna come back or not, I don't really know, but I can say he was very excited to see us. I don't think anything was really different for him. I mean, being that, honestly, it's weird for me to think of, people ask me all the time, oh, how's married life or whatever, and honestly, I get tired of that question because I really don't know what to say. It's good. I'm good. What am I supposed to tell you? Some people, honestly, I think they're trying to get me to say things oh, my husband leaves his clothes on the floor and I get angry. But I mean, honestly, not that it didn't, but we already were married, essentially. We just weren't married. So because of that, to me it feels pretty much the same, but better, more official, awesome. And it's really weird for me to think now that we weren't married when we got Apple. That blows my mind because honestly, we were still living here. We found him while we were here. He was honestly, Apple was a giant life change for us. As horrible as it is, probably a bigger life change than getting married, but not of greater importance. Getting married is, of course, of greater importance, but in terms of actually changing our life, Apple changed our life more than getting married did. But I'm just hoping you understand, I mean my life process actually having to change, not my happiness of life or my milestones of life, because obviously getting married is a huge milestone of life that I'm not disregarding in any way. But it's really weird for me to think we weren't married when we got him. So to me, I think he sees us how I feel, which is about the same.
I think that for that also, it's more just the things that came after the marriage and stuff was our 3 jobs are in a way that for instance, we have Friday mornings together.
Yeah.
I don't go into an office Friday morning and can't see both of them, you know what I mean? So we have our Friday morning
and I don't work on Friday.
Together. So I think that it's not necessarily that Apple was oh, because they got married, now we can go out every Friday morning and play at this great dog park or whatever, but because of the marriage, after the things that came after, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it's not necessarily because of the marriage, it's just now that we're married, we now have these jobs, just where our lives are at and everything. So I think with that, Apple is very happy about that, and he, to me, that's a big deal for him. So.
And I mean, now that we're married, we've been able to focus a little more on like Apple's needs, I guess. Not like we weren't taking care of him before, but for example, like we didn't have time to take him.
Spoiled.
We didn't have time to take him to a training class before we got married because we were always doing crap for the wedding. I was working full time, and see, even now that I have 3 jobs, I'm not working full time, but it's just as busy. I was working full time, and I was in a show at the same time. And I was in rehearsal for the show, and then in production. I was doing 3 shows a day. It was crazy, but awesome. And
I started working.
Yeah, and then so we didn't have time to take him to like a training class because every free second of my life was devoted to like, oh my gosh, programs, and oh my gosh, making pomanders and folding origami and freaking out. So now that we're married, his behavior got a lot better. Like after we came back from the wedding, I think just from being boarded for whatever reason, he started acting a lot better. Then we started taking him to a class, and that's been helping things. But let me tell you, he's better behaved on every day except for Friday morning. Because on Friday morning, he knows it's time to play. He knows when it's Friday. He goes psycho. Like, literally, if you're not attending to him every second and assuring him that you're about to leave, even if you are assuring him that you're about to leave, he's like, like trying to get you out the door. He doesn't care if you're wearing clothes. He just wants to get out the door and leave. So he doesn't even want to put up with getting dressed, brushing teeth, anything. He's like trying to rush you through the whole process because he knows that it's Friday morning and it's time to play.
And so then I start dissing him, and like when I'm like sitting there tying my shoe or something, and he's like, like I'm like, my life sucks, I have to wait for my owners to put their shoes on, like, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm like, God, your life doesn't suck. He's like so spoiled, you know what I mean? Like he gets lots of attention from us.
Oh, yeah.
He needs lots of attention from us because he's a Labradoodle, at least partly, mostly. And so like that is like a breed of dog that requires so much attention. It's
I mean, you might doubt dogs' ability to like know things or whatever, and he might not know that we're married and that we weren't married before, but I'll tell you, he does know when it's Friday.
Yes.
That is one thing that he knows.
He's very keen to a lot of things. But anyway, we will stop with that question for this episode because we spent a lot of time on it.
It was a very in-depth question. It was actually 2 questions.
So thank you for the Apple commentary.
3 questions.
And that was the Apple Kendo commentary almost. So
did we do all of these?
No, we're gonna do them in other things.
Oh, that's a lot of. Next one's gonna have a lot of questions. This might be 3 episodes.
Yeah, that's fine. So this is part of the 12 Days of Kendo Christmas, and we will certainly document our Christmas experience, you know, on Christmas Day, which will be the end of the 12 Days of Kendo Christmas. But what better way to end the 12 Days of Kendo Christmas? So we'll catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing. Take a